So a little bop along to that then there, Tim.
Once again, I've seen the threads going up about can we have the details of the music. It's a great soundtrack we've got going.
It's pretty banger, and it's a wonderful introduction song to our last game of the day here on the B stream. There is, of course, another game that's about to start on the A stream as well, so we should all be wrapped up inside the next hour and 15 or so. But to close things off, we've got Soniqs coming up against FaZe. And Tim, in the break, I was having a stroll through the venue, going to top of my water, all the rest of it. Soniqs having a very serious team. I love how you looked at my water bottle as well. Soniqs having a very serious team.
I just wanted to make sure that you weren't lying to us.
I'm all good. Soniqs having a very good and quite serious team chat as well to get things corrected for this game. And we said this coming in, you get two kinds of effects here. A team that's had a break and the adrenaline's fallen off and they're a little bit flat. That was the concern about G2. For Soniqs, it was that first game of the day. Now they've had a conversation about the things that went wrong. Hopefully it gets course corrected against FaZe.
Yeah, and you know, this is something that we know of the Soniqs. They're a serious team. You know, they're not messing about. They're here to win, and they're going to be looking to change anything that they need to coming into that. I don't think they need to worry too much. You know, at the end of the day, it was a tough game. I think I saw a tweet from Dorky in the break where he said it was like one of those games where you had to just fight for every single round.
He loved it.
He absolutely loved it. And I'm sure that was probably the case for most of the players. The Soniqs, you know, you don't want to see them going too far away from what they're doing, from the things that are working. So I'm sure they won't do it. It's going to be a good game. We've got our map bands.
We do. And we are going to Oregon. And it is going to be, I believe, that's starting on attack for FaZe, which means Soniqs begin on the defense.
The reason I like the look of Oregon is it's a map that every team should be able to play to a good standard. So we're going to get a good game out of both of these teams. It's going to be another real slugfest, I think.
I can't think of any teams that like utterly detest Oregon and always ban it.
It's one of those. I don't think any
thing.
teams like particularly love it. Nobody goes there like #1 all the time.
Not anymore.
But at the same time, nobody really detests it. Or it's just one of those middle of the pack maps that you have to be able to play. It's another Clubhouse is a bit more popular, but in the same way, you have to be able to play it. It's one of your core maps.
Absolutely spot on. Now, the good news for you guys is we are basically ready to get into games. Any minute now, we will have our lovely map fly through. A production about to say that to me. Go on, production. Oh, honestly.
There we go. This is as if we've done it before.
Caster's pressed the start game button and the game is going to start. We'll get into Oregon for our last game of the day. Soniqs looking to get a little bit of reconciliation after that last game against G2 that they couldn't quite do in overtime. And FaZe wanted to put on a solid show. They looked good against Sandbox, but there were question marks, so there's a lot to be answered for in this game by both teams.
We're going to be getting into those operator bands very...
That's a right raid, isn't it?
It's another one. It's another real belter over the top there. I mean, it wouldn't be right coming to Berlin and Germany and not having some of the real dance music going on with it.
It's got to be a bit of German
just wouldn't
techno.
Be right.
No, it's the home of techno. It's got to get blasting. Let's get into bands first and foremost.
Ooh.
It's going to be the Yana coming out there now. That's the sort of thing that we did see coming out of Cyber in their game earlier today.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it was Bullet who was playing Finker for the majority of it. And if Cyber's the guy who's hitting his shots on the day, the one who's the tip of the spear, I've been saying, why not take away the operator that he is comfortable on? A pretty spicy band coming in here as well in the form of the Capital target ban against Soniqs in their executions. And that's our two attacker bans. Definitely outside the norm, Tim.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of Capitao today here on the B stream. Not a huge amount, but a little bit. We know his value. You know, smoke bolts, fire bolts. He's got the LMG. He's fast. He's a 3-speed. A lot of people forget that point. You know that he is up there as a 3-speed operator. You know, a lot of utility, a lot of gadgetry brought along by the Capitao, and a lot of value in the band. Kaid and Azami being our final two. Not too much of a surprise there.
No, the Kaid's an interesting one because you look at that maybe and go, well, Thatcher's available, right? It's like, yeah, sure, but you don't have to play Thatcher every single round. And it just removes the finicky of having to double down on AMPs, for example, to definitely make sure hatches can get opened up. Just removes the annoyance of that, especially down in the basement, where, as we all know, there is no soft destruction in the ceiling of the basement. It's all about the hatches, which is why Kaid can be so powerful. But not going to feature in this game. We are going to start down in the basement, Tim. And very sensibly, Grix is going to start off on that Warden, anticipating some smoke play, some Candelas coming through, the E-box hatch. Good read.
Here we go then. Down to the basement for round one. It is Soniqs versus FaZe Clan. It is our last match of the day here on day one in Berlin. And what a day we have had on the B stream. We've had upsets. We've had overtime. We've had it all. And I think we're going to have a little bit more. there is going to be a twist in the tail before this one is done. I don't expect either team to completely run away with this one. I think it's going to be close fought, and I think it could be one of the games of the day to round things off for us.
Could well be. Small change in terms of lineup as well. Bullets moved across to playing on that Nook, which means Astro is going on to the Finker. A real change overall, to be fair. You've got Cyber on the Lion. So almost feels like a change in roles overall, where Cyber's no longer going to be that primary entry for the team. Instead, Astro's having that opportunity. And for those who maybe haven't followed okay, this is why, Tim.
I was just going to say the early E1D scan suggests that that's exactly what's going to be coming out. Cameraman taking lungfuls of that toxic vape canister as Grixer gets the opener onto Astro, and it looks like Soniqs were ready for this. Cameraman does manage to get himself inside a sight, but he's unlikely to be able to do anything. He's stuck in the closet, yet he finds Bullet. There's no support for him here, and this is going to be a big problem. Cyber manages to shut one down. That gets something going. Cameraman needs to just play really patiently here. I'm not sure if Soniqs are aware of his position or not. Souls, he knows that one's coming. Does he get his kill? Yes, he does. 3 versus 2. Somehow, FaZe have turned this around.
This should not be happening. This should not be happening. Going hunting with the skeleton key, but Grixer hits the headshot first. 2 big kills for him in the round, and now things breathe, knowing that we've still got 2 minutes to play. It's that 2 versus 2 situation. Camden's got the right idea as well. He's looking for the man out towards Tarps. It is Cyber who's lurking here. They go for a bit of a swing, but Cyber finds the kill. It's a 3K. It's down to a 1 versus 1. These are the kind of players you want left alive. Don't forget Kansan's 1v4 against down 1 Kieran Bang. And don't forget Souls with, well, every clutch he's ever done, Tim.
Which is a few. That much I can say. Souls is lower health though, so Andy's on the attack. He has to take the onus here. The diffuser is down. Kansan may well be able to play off audio there. I'm not sure if he knows exactly where the case is located or not, but for the time being, it looks like he's just going to head up to meeting. It's going to give Souls the opportunity to go and grab that diffuser. He could potentially play for a plant here if there is any information going to pick up. We're seeing that Kansan is currently on the rotate. It looks like he's going to be going down to Freezer. Now that, it needs to be seeing that. The opportunity is there for Souls to stick this. He's probably going to do it as Kansan tries to get back into position. And there you go. Soniqs just giving the opportunity to FaZe to get that diffuser down.
Souls ain't really got to do much here. He can just hold his spot and wait, but Kansan's the one making the move. Fights with a bit of a fake shot there, and he's done the right sort of job because Souls has rotated himself away. Drone in position sees him at the same time, so he can just hold tight here. Kansan could hit a wicked shot. Sees the man, but can't find him. Souls plants, clutches, does the works.
I'll just come back to the first sentence that I wrote about Souls at the Sweden Major in our shared talent prep doc that we had, and I broke down FaZe, and my first sentence for Souls was, "We'll clutch anything." And that he just continues to do. It is the main weapon in his arsenal. He is just unflappable in those situations. And it was a good read. I think there was probably a little bit of information that helped there. I don't know if it was that specific drone in the showers corridor that saw the last man for Soniqs getting and trying to go into Freezer. But as soon as they knew that, Souls took the opportunity to get that diffuser down. Well played by FaZe, and they take themselves the first round. It's 1-0.
I think in every single top of the stage awards that I've done, it's like top of the pops, Tim. Souls has always been in top clutches. He was 3rd rated around the world, joint with a lot of other people, admittedly, with 4 clutches in stage 2. But you're just coming to expect it from him at this point, that he'll win those big 1v1s. I mean, once you've won a 1 versus 1 in round 15 of map 3 in a semi-final of a major, pretty fair to say you can win most of the clutches that you're going to come into, and that's what Souls does consistently. Such a solid back line to have on the FaZe lineup. Always wonderful to see. Now we'll see what they can do, because Soniqs have stepped back down into the same site once again. Cyber, this time around, taking up the mantle of the Nook, previously being handed off to someone else. Just see what damage he can do.
He's going to be moving straight in here. He's got his Hell Presence reduction device working. He's actually just going to deactivate that. He can't get his way in through the barricade. On it goes again, so he can move past the camera without having to take it out. It's already gone at this point in time, but he's just creeping towards Zulu. Not going to push it far enough to find Kansan, who was playing inside of there, taking himself back to the top of Freezer stairs. Cyber continues his push through on the knock. He's not been able to find anybody yet. Not going to have any joy, but just looking to get himself into kitchen, into wards to at least support that clearance, and FaZe right now pretty comfortable that they've got that top floor as a man drops back down into the freezer, and they've pretty much got this lockdown.
I was going to say, for Soniqs, it is a very dug-in defense here, where again, all 5 players are now on site. Look, they've pulled back inside the first 60 seconds. Good pressure being shown by FaZe on Wager, but probably also questioning a little bit for Soniqs. More time out in the map, more disruption up on that top floor. Force FaZe to come to you. Could be a great way to make them sweat in the closing moments, whereas here, FaZe have got, what, 2 minutes to get the hatches opened up, to think about the execute they want. They can even have a cup of tea and then think about going in.
Yeah, plenty of time for them. I mean, it's not a surprise to see Soniqs go back to this site. FaZe obviously playing the rush in the first round, so it just sort of says to the Soniqs, that's really not how our defense is always going to play out. We're going to have different opportunities normally when FaZe are attacking in a more standard formation. So not a surprise to see them try it again after having lost it. If they don't pick it up here, it will then be moving on to dorms, I would expect. But FaZe, they need to get moving. As we said, they've got time. 1 minute 10, they're just starting to open the hatches. They don't want to get sort of overconfident with that time and see it tick away and become a problem.
Sure enough, they're setting up for what feels like a bit of a multi-point push. You've got Freezer, you've got Laundry, you've got Astro looking to go down Big Tower. You've also got Souls, I think, looking to drop in through E-Box. So forget about a 3-point push that we're used to seeing. This could be a full 9 yards, going for all 4 potential angles of entry here, Tim. Stick the 5th man inside of construction, you've got a full house.
I like that smoke canister coming out from the Soniqs there. It's going to support just keeping them in position around pillars. It's not going to allow the rear stage push to have as much impact. Cyber, he manages to get Rexon though. We're seeing the Yin Candelas dumped in there now. That's going to help Astro push forward, but it's Cyber who manages to get another. How many times have we said that? Second kill, drop comes in, Souls gets 1, Souls gets 2. He's reaping Souls at the minute as Bullet finishes off the round. It's almost flawless. There was just 1 kill in and amongst for the Soniqs there, but FaZe, they take round 2 with a more standard standard attack on to basement, and that is a good start for FaZe.
I just love how passive Souls was there. You know, didn't drop down a Candela and think, yep, it's go time, boys, go, 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 go. Instead was kind of more serving as a distraction for the rest of his team, who were, you saw Astro trying to pressure his way down Big Tower, for example. All guns from Soniqs were pointed up there, and just as the last Candela comes out, that's when Souls finally makes his appearance and gets the kill onto the Warden, who was the only one really able to deal with the threat of those Candelas coming through. So just making a lot of noise, a lot of hoo-ha essentially, and then capitalising on that in the dying few seconds. Again, great play coming out of Souls.
Going to head, as I suggested, up to the top floor this time. Soniqs, having lost Laundry in basement twice, once to a rush, once to a standard attack. They are now going to move on, try to lock down the top floor, and they need to do this, Des. They can't go 3-0 down here against FaZe. At that point, FaZe are feeling pretty confident. They only really need 1 more round. They've got the advantage, and heading into the defense, they're going to be confident that they can lock down 2 or 3 rounds on these sites, I would have thought. So Soniqs, they're going to put themselves massively on the back foot if they don't get this round.
That's the issue, right? Do you then take that time out, have that conversation after 3 rounds of losing, like we've seen so many times over today? Teams will drop the first quarter of the map. I started talking about this a lot this stage, quarters of the map, and it sounds weird to say because we talk about halves so often, but break it down to quarters, you'll often see teams go through the same 3-site rotation. Once you've gone through 3, and if you've been slapped every single time, clearly there is some course correction to be done. So I would not be too astonished if Soniqs say, okay, we've lost 3 now, we've lost Basement twice, we've lost Kids Dorms, they're the 2 primary sites, we need this time out to course correct, else this could go from bad to worse. Yeti. Oops.
Going to see Yeti taking some damage there. Super's just trying to support. I think it was coming in from the white window. It was Bullet who was able to find shots onto the Legion there. He's got Super in support on white stairs as well, so it's not going to be a case of just jumping in the window and heading up the white stairs for FaZe. And Yeti's going to try to hold on to Kitchen for the time being. We often see players underneath. They're looking to make it difficult to go for that double window push. They don't want anybody being able to hop in. So if you can keep Kitchen, if you can keep security, it allows you that vertical option. But for now, Yeti has been forced away. He's going to get himself up towards challenging onto Armory Corridor from Big Tower, but that's going to tell them exactly where he is. Cyber able to delete Super with a headshot there, and Cyber 6-2 so far, and we're only in round 3.
They have no idea what's coming. Cyber truck more like charging his way through, gets 2, almost a 3rd, will finally finish it off as he gets down on white stairs and can no doubt charge through the rest. Cameraman inside of sight. Yeti on the flank, as we've seen from him so many times today, is just a little bit too late to the FaZe party on the top floor. And FaZe steamrolling Soniqs in the first 3 rounds.
Flawless round there, so if anything, Soniqs getting further and further away from a defensive win at this rate. And the question now that you have to ask is, where do the Soniqs go? They've got the tactical timeout. That's the only place that really they've got left. I mean, Do they go back to dorms again after just having a flawless round there? Do they go back to basement after losing twice? Or do they go to one of the offsites that, let's be honest, they wouldn't normally be picking until the point that they had to? So the Soniqs right now are backs against the wall, and this is a super important tactical timeout. There's got to be some big words said here.
And this is the thing, Tim. They've almost had it sounds silly, but they've had a huge tactical timeout between the games. They've played a full 14 rounds. They've had a lot of chance to see what's working today and what's not. Where then course correct. I walked past and heard them talking about doubling up more, playing off each other, for example, and working as a team. But as it stands, FaZe are just like, hey, it's not just Cyber today. I mean, sure, Cyber's getting the kills, but now I really feel like we're not seeing the other players just being present. They're actually involved in the action. It's just Cyber that's picking up a lot of these kills.
Looking back to the point where they took a tactical timeout against G2, it's interesting to note that G2 still won 2 of the next 3 rounds. So, you know, it wasn't particularly impactful in the last game. Is it going to be any better this time around? Straight away, the big difference that strikes me here, Des, Rexon is on the mirror this time along, bringing along that operator. We see a Bandolot, we know the power. We're going to potentially see a mirror played on the wall looking in towards Bunker. That will potentially slow down progress from there. It depends how much they're going to try to hold on to the hatch or not. We'll likely see one played in towards Freezer. The third potential location is in the closet, looking towards Laundry Stairs as well. We did have a completely sort of surrounding attack from FaZe last time, which is quite usual for the LATAM teams. So, no surprise to see Rexon playing that in there just to try and cut off that angle potentially coming from the front side. Oh, the other one in elbow. Nice position.
I don't hate it, given FaZe's rush down elbow last time, right? It gives you a second fallback point. You lose the shield inside of elbow, you then got a mirror you can fall back onto. It does mean, though, that you're punished for reinforcing off the wall itself when you go back through. So I'm curious to know if they keep it open and just play a smoke there, for example. 6-1 with a shotgun there, can shut down smokes, for example, and actually hold it rather than reinforcing it off entirely and letting the attackers open it up for free.
Bullets,
so interesting innovation.
Bullets looking for the challenge on White Stairs window there. He had some joy last time around, was able to take half health off Yeti. This time not going to catch anybody as the clearance continues. Nate going to go in. This could be dangerous. It's going to get caught out by the Wamai Magnet, and it just gives the man the opportunity to get back down the stairs. Kansan goes to safety, but we've seen this previously, Des. It was at about the same mark, 50 seconds, and Soniqs have been forced back to site. Absolutely.
Yeah, it feels like and the thing is, I don't overly blame them. I'm not saying here you have to go and force 2 players to hold top floor or stick someone in tier 3 tower, but FaZe are forcing you back incredibly quickly. Your hold so far has been halfway up Freezer, it's been halfway up Laundry Stairs, halfway up Big Tower Stairs, just to take a drone out and then get back to site. It's not the end of the world, but you are giving a team that is full of beans right now all the time in the world to do what they want. Where I will commend Soniqs is they have killed off the majority of drones coming out from FaZe, though, so they're now playing off limited information for the rest of the round.
Opening up the hatches 20 seconds quicker than last time. It was the 1:10 mark. This time it's 1:30 that cameraman's going to start getting that work done. So speeding things up here, FaZe. We saw a good performance from Astro last time. It's the same again. The Candelas are going to go in through electrical, and that is going to give Astro the opportunity to push forward. He needs to be careful about highway here. There's nobody challenging. There it comes. Grixer onto Astro. Astro just caught out looking in completely the wrong direction. Big opener for the Soniqs.
It looked like a real good start as well. I thought, honestly, Astro would get in, kill the player in Harry Potter, and suddenly that'll be it. Soniqs would lose control of Pillar, but for now, at least they hold on. Souls has rotated off to go and fill the gap that he left previously, which is where Astro had such a big impact previously or last time round. So Souls has now got to fill 2 roles. The E-Box one that he had before, and also up inside Big Tower. One shot will be enough to end it, and Cyber really should have had that freebie, but can't find his man. Cameraman marches forward and starts the action.
35 seconds left to go. Cyber once again gets an important kill onto Yeti. It allows him to push in and start challenging towards Elbow, which is going to free Bullet up and mean that he can move into Bunker. It's effectively a 1 versus 4 as Kansan is down. Rexon manages to get one. He's got the Vector. Can he get more? It's good for the headshots, but it's a low mag capacity when you consider the speed that they go through the bullets. It was irrelevant in the end. He got picked up straight away, and that's going to be FaZe 4-0 and running away with things. And I'm really concerned for the Soniqs at this point, Des, because Oregon is definitely defensible, and if FaZe go 5-1, 6-0, can I honestly not see them picking up 1 or 2 rounds on defense? No, I can't.
It's rough because even with Astro really sticking a limb out there and going for such an aggressive play down Big Tower, they get that opener and I think, great, now Souls is stretched. You know, he's got to deal with E-Box and we're trying to push down Tower Stairs. There's no way he gets anything going. But whilst, again, the attention is turned towards the Ying for a couple of players on the side of Soniqs, they just flood the south side. They come up through Freezer, they come up through Laundry, and between Cameraman and Cyber, just tear Soniqs a new one. It's almost feeling like they're being too easy to bait into focusing on specific areas of the attack. We saw the same thing against G2, and G2 also, arguably, did the same against Soniqs for Yeti to then get the backstab. So a bit more split focus probably will reward them here, but as you said, I don't really see FaZe slipping up too much. Maybe Soniqs find one round here. By what methods, I don't yet know. But even with one round, I'm not confident they'll be able to pull it all off in the second.
No, I'd agree with you. Important couple of rounds then for the Soniqs. They need to be getting these defences. We're going to see them this time going to kitchen and dining. No choice but to go towards a tertiary site. FaZe Clan completely shutting them out of their two primary choices so far. Bullet once again working towards exactly the same. This is the thing for FaZe. In a lot of ways, it's been rinse and repeat here. They've not really done anything different. They've just gone in and done the same things very well. They've kept pressure on that white window. They've prevented roamers from being able to play around kitchen, around bottom white stairs. They've made that difficult. That's then forced Soniqs back to site, and they've been able to build from there, and they're just doing the same thing again.
The thing for me is what I touched on earlier is it's no longer just Cyber being the one going in and making things happen, it's everyone. I was going to say, is Super playing the same spot as the big clutch before? We'll start losing utility here. 2 ADS is taken out, which means he's now very susceptible to nades, and I think he knows it. Look, Tim, they are ready to bully Super out of this office. 3 players stacking up with the Forest Roteros still on the downstairs coming through. He won't be here for much longer. You
wouldn't have expected so. Can he take 1 or 2 with him? That's going to be the big question. He's just trying to burn as much time as possible. But no, he's against the worst that he could have been. It's Cyber. Goes in once again, gets a kill. 11 and 2, Des. It is worth mentioning. That is inside 4.5 rounds at this point. Absolutely flying right now. And he's got the Finker LMG in hand as well. And then FaZe just looking to sort of reconciliate here. They've got themselves back to 4 versus 4. Challenge comes in. Cameraman shut down by Yeti in the showers. Absolutely beautiful headshot there. And that gives the Soniqs the advantage once again.
Like I mentioned, Tim, this could be that round they're looking for to get on the board. Even just one gives them a bit of breathing room in the second half to know they're not immediately staring down the barrel of match point every single round. Astro's now got himself through all of those Roteros. 3 flashes still in back pocket. He's looking to work his way through in towards site. Now, with the wall being opened up to their right-hand side, they've got that plant angle in behind the couch. The question is, when do they go?
That's it. There's a possibility for them here. They're going to have to make sure that the cover is very much in place, and it's not. As Yeti steps forward and gets Cyber 4 versus 2 now, Soniqs have got to be able to lock this out. They can't allow a plant to go down here. Astro looks to get aggressive and move into sight. He's got Souls in support as well. That's going to be 1. That's going to be 2. And that leaves us now very quickly in a 2v2. Switches to the pistol. This is not the fight to take, Astro. He's going to turn his back. Needs to be careful there. Picks up the diffuser. Souls actually lost his life along the way there. It's 1 versus 2. 25 seconds left to go.
He's got time here, and it's kind of weaseled his way inside a shower, so a bit of a different alternative angle to come through. You are staring down a shotgun from Grixer, though, which makes me really nervous. He sees that Banshee and just thinks, you know what, forget about it. Trying to make this plan happen. Will he stick, though? Do pros fake Tim? It's about time to find out. Grixer stepping through. Sees the man. It's an easy 1 pump. We'll get the disable, and Soniqs will find that first defensive round they've been so sorely looking for.
Absolutely, desperately needed that one, and they need the next as well. They've got to take some confidence from that. They've got to build forward. I like the play at the end there. No over-aggression onto Astro. It wasn't necessary. 10 seconds left to go. Let him start putting that diffuser down. If he completes it, it doesn't really matter. We're coming in with a shotgun, and Grixer deals with it very comfortably.
And we go down to Laundry and Supply for round 6, Tim. I don't know. It's not gone well the first, 3 times you've tried it. I'm nervous.
Honestly, if Soniqs come away with a 2-4 here, they've done very well.
They've stolen it, mate, at that point. After those first 4 rounds, it would genuinely be a steal.
Yep. In we go then. Downstairs to Laundry. As you say, we've already seen it a few times. 3 to be precise. It's been 3 FaZe wins. Very brave of the Soniqs, very bold choice to go back down here again. Dorms was available. We've only seen that once. You know, there was an opportunity to go back up to that top floor. Granted, it was a flawless round for FaZe, but at least you've only had the 1 loss there rather than the 3. But the Soniqs obviously confident that they know what has been going wrong and how they are going to deal with it. Not a surprise to see Super bringing along the Goyo with the Vulcan canisters. We've commented a couple of times about the multi multifaceted attacks of FaZe. I expect to see exactly the same. There'll be pressure down Freezer, there'll be rear stage stairs, we'll have Astro going down, there'll be a bunker presence, probably from Bullet. We will see very much the same out of FaZe. They might choose to push somebody down Laundry, maybe not, but that is where the Vulcan canisters can really come in to help that, because if you're getting pushed from multiple sides, you can take one of those canisters down and you don't need to worry about that angle for 20-30 seconds. You can just focus elsewhere, try and clean that up, and then come back to the other.
Absolutely. Always focusing on the Oster, of course. So whenever you see that operator picked up, you know exactly what it leads to. Normally a big focus drive behind the rest of the attacking team, behind that shield operator. Same as when you see a Monty. Very rarely will you see him charging him unsupported. There'll always be a plan coming in behind. Cyber managing to get in and get rid of one of the Goyo canisters, but I think here you're looking towards those mirror windows because they are always going to serve a very credible threat for a C4 to come yeeting out from behind. They've got 3 of them in back pockets, but getting rid of the slow burn of the Goyos never going to be a bad thing. We've seen so many teams struggle in the closing 30 seconds because of those canisters.
Souls is going to be getting onto the hatch with the hard breach gadget, and this is getting quicker and quicker, Des. You know, I commented on it, 1 minute 10 we saw Cameraman for the first time around opening up the hatches, and then 1 minute 30, now 1 minute 50, and Soniqs are just being forced back more and more, quicker and quicker when FaZe attack this site.
And it looks exactly the same as before as well. You know, Grix is playing Highway. You have one player playing around Shaiko's spot. It's normally the Warden that's playing where Grixer is now. Nothing has really changed in terms of the defense from Soniqs, which is what makes me nervous. It's basically the same as before. FaZe Clan are running into the same things they've already seen and succeeded against.
They were going to have the opener. It's Cyber. That man, again, he's been an absolute nightmare. More than a thorn in the side to Soniqs here. He's been destroying them, but this time Rexon is able to get the trade. That is really important. It allows Soniqs to keep holding on to Elbow and keep hold of Shaiko's spot as well. Bullet, he's going to send the nade in, but it's not going to reach deep enough to do any damage to Yeti, leaving us now still in a 4 versus 4. 50 seconds left to go, and the push has to come from FaZe, but they're running out of utility to back in behind. Yeti's got aggressive. They've no idea. He gets 1. Can he get 2? He knows he's behind the barrels. He's just standing straight out there. He's going to get flashed, but he escapes with his life. And this is good from the Soniqs.
Really good holding. A lot more confidence as well. Yeti's been dancing back and forth the entirety of this round, being a real thorn in the side, but Astro steps over. The trade comes through immediately after. Good team play from Soniqs, who, like you say, Tim, might just be able to square this up 4-2.
There is a presence in the freezer for them, but Grixon knows that one is in bunker. This is going to get very difficult after that kill goes down. He finds Cameraman and shuts it out. 1 versus 3. It's all up to Souls. Can the clutch come back to bite them? Not this time, Grixon says, as he closes down the round, shuts the man out. It's 2-4, and Soniqs, they can't feel too hard done to after that first half.
That shows the importance of Pillar there as well. Between Yeti and Grix, the damage they were doing. Yep, Souls couldn't get the drop through the players trying to come in through construction, couldn't get away with it. Astro couldn't get down big tower stairs without a big coordinated team push. Those 2 players are just going to tear you limb from limb. So fair play to the Soniqs. Really bounced back in the last couple of rounds. I thought we might be heading towards a 5-1, if not a 6-0. But it could be far worse. Now we've got to see some really good attacks coming out of the Soniqs.
That's a big question now. We move into that second half. Can Soniqs carry that momentum forward? You know, will FaZe show us a better ability to defend? I would expect to see maybe a little bit more presence out in the map. That said, we've got Cyber on the smoke. We've got Bullet on the Valk. I'd expect to see maybe Bullet out in the map, supported by Cameraman on the Jaeger potentially. I don't think they'll play too heavy a roam to begin with. I think FaZe will be hopeful here that if they can hold down sight with their angles, take the gunfights. I mean, they've been doing fantastically well in the gunfights so far, so why not? And just try to steal a round off the Soniqs here. It puts them 5-2.
Whew. It's getting hot in the room and it's hot in the server, Tim.
Hot everywhere.
It is. That IQ coming out because it's in the Valkyrie and on the other side. We clocked on this back in the G2 game that they brought along the IQ without seeing a Valk on the other side, likely just for the weapon. But here at least there is a different weapon. It's not the G3 in use, it is something else. I forget which one that is. Do you know the icon of that? Not gonna lie, I don't know what gun she's got except the G3.
I'm really bad with the names of the guns, I'll admit that.
Me too.
It's the Commando.
Oh, you knew that one, did you?
Yeah.
Got it. Fair.
Thank you, production.
You clocked it. Production in our ears like Commando. Yep.
I won't claim the knowledge as my own. Astro, he's going to peek onto main door. He sees his man, but he doesn't take any shots. There was an opportunity there, potentially, albeit very brief. And this is, as I suggested from FaZe, that we would see them out in the map a little bit. It's Astro and it's Bullet at the minute. Cameraman is going to drop himself back to site, and there that slow trickle of returning on to the basement does begin. But for now, FaZe are keeping themselves present in meeting at least. My big concern here is Astro on the Warden. We saw how important the Warden was playing in and around rear stage, in and around the pillar, preventing those Candelas having the big impact that we know that they can. So Astro doesn't want to overstay his welcome on the mid floor. He is needed in the basement.
He is, yeah. But again, look at a bit of the difference here where you've had that aggression out and about around the map that's kept Soniqs chasing through the entirety of the top floor. And we're at that minute-and-a-half mark. So for FaZe, they've burnt, arguably at least for now, 30 seconds more than what Soniqs did. We'll see when they start getting all the hatches fully opened up. I think some are still closed at this point, but no doubt will not be closed for much longer. That said, they've only got 2 of the breaching charges in back pocket, which, in a way, I'm looking at not breaching charges, the hard breach gadgets. I'm a little bit nervous about that because if Super have gone down early in the round, they have no way to get hatches opened up.
If you're wondering what Rexon is labouring over there, he's scouting around to try and find Valkyrie cams as best he can. He's using that Twitch drone just to have a look around in Freezer because the last thing they want is all that information in the hands of FaZe. 55 seconds left to go and Soniqs begin the push. They're going to get themselves established down inside of Freezer. It's Kanzen and Rexon. That's good. They've got one on Laundry Stairs. It's going to be Super pushing down with the Ying. The Candelas potentially to follow. 40 seconds left to go though, and Soniqs, they've got a lot of things dead, but they don't have any kills.
No, and Super's so alone down here. There's 4 players going in through Freezer, and you've got Super trying to make things worse at work elsewhere. Trades back through Astro as Kamsen walks away the victor, now marching his way in towards Deep Freeze. Cameraman not a clue what was coming at him and gets put in the dirt. Super going in for the plant, a second from Yeti, a 4v1, and like that, we're starting to see a very transformed Soniqs. That's a wonderful first attack.
Way better from Soniqs there. Just another level of confidence than we've seen from them on the defense. Get themselves back within 1 round now, and as you say, a little bit of a steal, really waking up ever since round number 5, and they've won those 3 in a row, 5, 6, 7, all theirs. Now then, they're going to be heading into round 8, continuing their attacks. This time, FaZe, they move immediately. If you remember, we saw Soniqs labouring over the basement, lost themselves a couple of rounds there before moving on, whereas FaZe, nope, they're heading straight up to the top floor. They know how important getting the next round is. If they can get themselves onto 5, it's a good leap point, it's good with the springboard position to be in then to finish this match off. They don't want the Soniqs tying things up here, so Soniqs were well on top of Laundry Basement. Let's move out, but look at that change from the Soniqs.
I mean, I'm immediately seeing the...
I think they were expecting bottom floor again.
No, I think you see the Ying playing in through double window. The Glass playing in through double window. We've seen that sort of thing before. It's a nice long angle that you get, but I don't know. Like, the rest of the team doesn't really feel super coordinated around it. Maybe it gets changed out last second. One thing they have got in spades, though, Tim, is nades. Look towards the Nook, in towards the Sledge, in towards the Finker, arguably towards the Glass. If he brings them, which he is doing, that's 8 frags on side. Damn. Okay, that's a lot of damage.
This means that it's going to be particularly important for FaZe to hold on to the mid-floor. They've got to keep the Soniqs from using the verticality of the nades. That's where they're going to be particularly dangerous. I commented on Theme Park that you can't have too much impact vertically. Well, imagine the complete opposite of that here on Oregon. Practically the whole of the upstairs site can be hit from underneath with those nades. So there's going to be a couple of players in and around security and kitchen. Boy. That is not good for the Valkyrie of Bullet. They know exactly where he is. He's completely unaware of the drone up on the top there. If he gets taken out, this could become a field day for the Soniqs playing from underneath.
Now he knows he's been seen by that drone, so he's got to back away. Yeah, if he'd stayed still for too much longer, then it could have been a freebie coming in as a spray through the soft wall. Would have been the end of his life. And it's interesting to see this. We've seen a couple of teams play this recently. Even when defending the actual site itself of kitchen dining, leave half the wall soft and challenge into small tower more aggressively. Again, it's about making the attackers fight for every little bit of land they want. Super getting his first kill of the game, and it's on to Astro.
And it's a great start. It's one of those that are underneath. How does Cyber get away with that kill? Takes down the Glass on the reverse angle before getting himself back to site. Importantly, Bullet is still alive on the underneath, Des. They can't start using the vertical nades yet. They have to clear out the Valkyrie. It started so well with Super getting Astro. He was the one underneath supporting Bullet and preventing that verticality. But right now, they're at a little bit of a stall point here because they can't push on with the plan before they've got rid of Bullet.
Absolutely not. Oh, no!
That's not ideal.
It's not the start you're looking for. Do they still know about Bullet at this point? Cyber has definitely just seen someone jump in. There's your man, but can't quite finish it off. 2 of them now stuck inside of here. They're going to have to see for the hatch and get out of dodge, forgetting that there's a Bailiff on side as well. A momentary panic, but FaZe, both players getting out of dodge here, keeping themselves alive, and you've drawn Soniqs' attention. Not bad, boys.
I'm not sure if Super's aware of this. He could well find himself with one on the flank as Cyber's going to move around. He's going to look for that quick peek. There is no two ways about it. There we go, Super. He is aware now. He must have heard the movement. 4 versus 4. But what you've got to remember, Des, is that Soniqs haven't even moved towards site yet. And we have only got 40 seconds left to go. Kansan, he's looking to try and push up the white stairs, but the Toxic Babe canister's going to deal with him. They're finally able to start using some of those vertical nades, but they can't do it confidently because they know they've got players on the flank.
And there's Bullet finding the one. Super now being shut down, opens up green, so suddenly this looks real dicey for the side of Soniqs. Trying to force their way in through Trophy Door. They've got concrete they can plant on, but it's a double swing coming out. They get absolutely clapped down by Cyber, who finds a 3K. Rexon trades it back, but it don't matter. Souls is there for the closeout.
That's a great defense from FaZe. Simple as that. Absolutely beautiful. Starting with 2.5 men underneath, recognizing that the nades were going to be a big play-in point. 8 of them brought along for the Soniqs. They didn't necessarily know that before coming into the round, but as it progressed, they certainly looked to hold on to the mid-floor. They've seen it time and time again, how many of those kills we get from underneath with the nades on Oregon, and they were having absolutely none of it. Bullet and Astro were there to particularly lock it down, and then we had, I think it was Cameraman just supporting on the Jaeger as well. That's why I say 2.5 men. He was dropping up and down. He was sort of half sight. It was a semi-roam, but fantastically well played from FaZe. Masterclass of a defensive top floor.
What I love the most about that, I think, was just the difference that you've seen between the two halves, where FaZe are playing so out in the map, being aggressive, even getting themselves into a bit of a pinch, and still managing to walk away with their lives and then have an impact out on the flank. Just constantly keeping them guessing. That's the kind of play that you want to see. And of course, if you're watching the bottom right corners of your screen, you will see that there will be a rehost coming in shortly. So we should come back to the player cams for a brief moment, and then we'll be able to get things back underway once again.
Yeah, Soniqs just having a simple drone issue there. They're just going to quit out the load back in, and we'll get this one rehosted as soon as possible for you. It's really a good time for FaZe, really, I think, if anything. It doesn't hurt the Soniqs. You know, yes, they can get themselves sorted, get back in, but I don't think the break in momentum is really going to hurt FaZe. They've lost a round, they've won a round. You know, it's a good opportunity now for them to just solidify what's gone on there, especially off the back of a really good defense that they've just had. I don't think it hurts them in the slightest, this rehost.
Not really, no, to be honest with you. Again, sat at 5 and 3, you're in a very comfortable spot. If nothing else, the pressure is now going to be on Super and the gang. We spoke about it in the last game. They just narrowly lost out to G2. If you're going to keep yourself in the conversation about taking that second place spot, you've got to be winning this game. Otherwise, it's G2 and FaZe that are in the driving seat going into day 2.
It's certainly looking that way. You know, we've already said NA has been limited on points so far. 3 for Xset, 1 for Soniqs. If they can't pick up any more here and now, that's a tough day for NA. They're going to be 1 out of 8 games.
Imagine if I was always this much taller than you.
You're not, though.
Imagine if I was.
We can imagine, but I could just do the same, look.
I could do this.
Balancing my shoes isn't that easy, though.
This isn't going to work.
This is just asking for trouble.
It absolutely is.
Late night trouble from Des.
The thing is, we've got little chairs off to the side. We actually have like a little podcast chat thing. Look, while the rehost goes on. Hang on a minute. Nice plain back chairs.
I don't think it's going to be that long a rehost, Des.
They're unbranded. Come on, Tim. Let's grab a pew.
Hang on.
The thing is, the camera's so high that you guys can't see the chairs, so it kind of ruins the dynamic a little bit.
There we go.
We're on chairs, so
I'm a bit far out there.
So I can lean on my chair and look pensive towards you, like, Mr. Tim, you're a very interesting subject. Tell me about your life.
I don't think we've got time for that, Des. Oldest member of the talent team. We'd be here all night.
Where can we start?
I think we're going to be getting back in.
I think we will in a minute.
There's nowhere to
the
start.
world's fastest podcast, apparently, is the way this is going to break on down.
The place to start is...
I keep turning around and Mara in the background.
It's very nice.
I love the cards, sort of like... Something like graffiti.
I like the sticker thing, yeah.
Yeah, even that sponsor thing I thought was quite cute.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite clever,
I like it. We're going to be getting back in, Des.
We are, but I'm enjoying looking at this at the minute.
You keep looking at that. We're going to load back into Oregon. We've got Soniqs falling behind. They've trailing FaZe Clan 5-3 at the minute. FaZe just getting themselves a very important round there before the Sonics were able to level things up. And FaZe now looking to extend that. It was a beautiful defense of Dorms. They kept hold of that mid-floor fantastically well, prevented any vertical nades being used by the Sonics, wasted 2.5 minutes, and just really did not give them a chance. We're going to go back down to Laundry and Basement, though, which by the flip side, Sonics had a super solid attack of. So expecting super solid. You like what I did there? I'm expecting to have good things come out of Sonics on this attack again. I think they keep this close here, and we're going to see it come down to that third choice site.
Very possibly. And that'll be the big teller, though. If they manage to win this round and keep it competitive, I know it's one of your favourites, Tim. Otherwise, it's a big, long hill climb for Sonics to try and get themselves back into the game. FaZe have come prepared, though. We've seen Ying very repeatedly throughout this map, and again, it was something I was speaking to Lycan about last week on the podcast. Basically just saying, look, we just sit picking Ying if we see there's no response to it. We run through people with the Ying, simple as that, and that's how SSG got the highest attacking win rate in NA. So things look... You're right there, Tim. What have you just dropped?
My pen.
Is that your pen?
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry.
Do you know what your pen is?
No, don't worry.
You're worrying, though. You're panicking.
It's all right, I can see it, it's fine.
All right, that's boring. That bounced a really long way. That's impressive. Let's see how this goes. Bouncing into round number 9 is the attacking side, of course, for Sonics. Those of you just joining us, we have a quick rehost, so don't worry. It hasn't been like a pacifist game that teams have just won thanks to the clock. There have been kills going back and forth throughout.
Canton looking to approach potentially towards Garage, I think, just cautious of the potential for that pressure from rear stage. He's going to be going into the top floor. This is something that we saw Sonics do previously, get themselves in above, work all the way down, make sure that they force in those roamers out. This is something that I like from the Sonics, something that they do well. You know, they pay a lot of attention to what's going on around them. They don't skip steps. You know, they make sure that all the boxes are ticked. Now, are they going to find the man? Yes, they are. Rexon, he is going to see Cameraman there. It's going to force Cameraman to move. He can't clear the hatch. He's actually got it reinforced so that he can stand on it without getting naded from underneath. He's going to have to try and hold on here. He's just here to play his life. He needs to take half of the round at least here. He's got Cyber backing him up now. There's the potential for them to hold on to this.
And Astro gets one for himself as well, but look at the difference in defenses of Sonics versus FaZe here. Yet he gets Cyber on his way down. Wasn't really paying attention there with the shotgun in hand. Not a bad sting, and Cameraman's now managed to move his way off, but is still causing bother in towards lobby. Again, just to pull back to it, we're 1 for 1. Drones have been chewed through on the Sonic side. We're over halfway through the round, and they haven't yet cleared out the top floor. They are putting some focus on trying to hit site direct at this point, though, with 2 or 3 players now down in the basement. But what about the flankers, Tim? What about those damn flankers?
But they've got Canton sat on the drones at the minute, so if they've got them in the right positions, it shouldn't be a big problem for them. They know that Cameraman is still up on the top floor, but I think they're pretty happy that they've been able to deal with him at this stage. Grixer is going to find Astro inside a site. Bullet with a trade, immediately hit back by Grixer, and that leaves us now in a 3 versus 2 with Cameraman off site. He's pushing to get himself back in there, but they know exactly where he's going to be coming from. Souls, he's going to be downed and finished. It's all up to Cameraman, and I like what Sonics have done here. They've not really played into the roam game of FaZe. The roam has been going so well for them so far, but the Sonics said, you know what, that's fine. We're not going to play you at your own game then. If you want to stay up there on the top floor, you do that. You see how much joy that gets you defending basement, and the answer is not very much.
Shoot him, my God. As soon as referring to the closing moments there, where, well, 2 people... Everyone's been in that situation, though, where 2 or 3 targets appear on screen at once, and you don't know where to shoot.
There's too much choice.
So you kind of shoot in the middle of them.
Kid in a candy shop.
Panic, yeah, exactly that. You're like, where do I begin? Like, I don't know. Before you know it, you're dead. It's unfortunate. Still, one of those rounds where, like you say, Sonics made the real good executive decision to just go straight into sight. Hit it hard with the Candelas, whilst Cameraman was off site. They dealt with Cyber as well, who was trying to come down white by having a cut-off player at the bottom of Showers. So, right idea altogether. FaZe maybe a little bit overcommitted to the roam. I'm aware that's kind of like, hey, well, Des, 2 seconds ago, you were saying it's good they were off on the rope. Yeah, they were. They chewed through all the drones. They got themselves a kill 1 for 1. And they burnt about 90 seconds on the clock. It was good, but Sonics adapted really well to identify there were a couple of players off site and say, let's use the utility we've got and just hit them hard now.
I mean, Cameraman didn't really have confidently a route back to site either, which is always a bit of a problem for the roamers. As you say, it was good, the work that he did, but we commented on it at the time. The difficulty is, what now? You just leave a drone, you leave one man watching an angle, and all of a sudden you've got somebody stuck on top floor, and the rest of the team can say, you know what, we're not playing into it. And it was a beautiful beautiful demonstration of that from Soniqs, just completely ignoring the roamers. They lost a man up there already with Kansan going down to Astro and just thought, you know what, we don't need any more of this action. This time they're going to be attacking onto a third choice site for FaZe. Now then, Roteros are going to be going in to clear out Garage and associated utility.
There's 3 ADSs, a bulletproof, barbed wire,
all gone. There's not
bulletproof cam. There's everything stacked inside there, and I'm pretty sure he just killed about 6 pieces of utility. Oh, no. Oh, what?
What?
Okay.
He must have jumped it too far forward. The blast radius hasn't reached the bottom wall.
Yeah, only got the bulletproof. Wow, did he know about all the utility
It's not reached the Banshee and the ADSs, and if he hasn't seen it when jumping in, they're going to stay in position.
Yeah, damn, that's going to sting. I really thought he got the lot with one there.
Soniqs have got themselves established up on the top floor. They're looking to make sure that nobody's holding from above, but at the minute, FaZe are not. Souls has positioned himself on Freeze's stairs. Again, I just feel like this could be a bit of a roundabout how efficient the droning is from Soniqs. Astro, he's getting out of there. He's not having any part of this now. That's going to be the top floor defense gone, although he does open himself an angle up so he can challenge from rear stage stairs if the opportunity presents itself.
It's just good to keep him busy because now Soniqs have to have someone watching green stairs whilst also trying to watch the hatch. It's quite a risk for one person to do that, so it will keep them guessing constantly. I'm guessing that wasn't intended. Maybe it was.
Yeah, he's looking for the vertical angle.
I said the instant destruction was a bit curious, but yeah, using it now to open these up. Something we first saw Merry doing when he was still playing over in APAC North, actually. It was quite creative. We saw it over like a sledge being brought along on Clubhouse Basement. Cyber being a little bit too exposed there to those vertical angles, and Rexon gets the opener.
Yep, too aggressive there, just leaving himself well visible from above, and a good opener from Rexon. Soniqs getting the advantage. They've got the top floor control as well. I would say this round is going heavily in their favour at the minute. They know that they've still got Astro back out on the rear stage, and they're looking to try and deal with that from the attic above. Yeti's going to actually push down and see if he can get a horizontal angle onto him. 44 seconds left to go, so time could become a factor for Soniqs, but you just feel like there's a flurry of kills coming any second now, Des.
The question is from who as well? Because in that last 30 seconds is when things get crazy. I always talk about the 6th man, the clock really starting to aid the defenders the closer towards 0 we get. And Soniqs at this point have got that top floor control. They've had it for a good while, but haven't made the call on what the play should be. Only now is Rexon starting to look in towards split, where there should be a ton of utility waiting for him. Won't impede him too much. Cameraman finding a kill onto Rexon straight away. For Super to get the trade back on the other side. Soul's bringing down Kansan. They've got to make a move though as Astro frags out here. 2 and 3 kills coming through. Finds one more. Makes it almost a triple. Grixer gets one back, but there is no time. Going to try and stick this plant, but Soul's a bullet. Should be able to get this one closed out. Don't even turn around. In fact, he comes off the plant, Tim. Could have got away with that for a brief second, I thought.
Well, what I can tell you 100% is that you won't win the round by taking your finger off the button.
Absolutely not.
That much I will tell you. You know, Souls runs in, misses his man. He's got the pistol out, doesn't see him over his shoulder as he runs in. You sort of, I'm not going to go too far with this because I know it's very unlikely. But you look at it and you think, that diffuses about half a second from going down. If he gets a free shot into the back of Souls after coming off that, it's a 1v1.
And he can win it.
It's a 1v1. And granted, he probably gets taken down from the kitchen rotate or similar. But you never know. However, it didn't happen. We move. And we are now looking at 6-4 to FaZe Clan. They have guaranteed themselves overtime and a point at least. They will be looking for more than that, though. And the problem here for Soniqs now is that Dorms has opened back up again. We saw FaZe have a really good defense of this site a couple of rounds ago, 3 rounds to be precise. They just absolutely dominated the mid-floor. They didn't even really worry too much about site. They had like 1-2 players sometimes in there. Other than that, it was all about holding on to kitchen security and meeting and not allowing those vertical nades to be played by Soniqs. They brought 8 nades along last time. It's looking pretty similar this time. Only 6, couple of claymores, so a little bit less focus on the vertical nades, but still, I think a similar game plan coming from FaZe.
Absolutely, and knowing now the pressure is on them, Soniqs, you've got to dig deep, boys, if you want to be able to keep this game going and have a shot at getting even anything from this game, because bearing in mind now, FaZe are at 6. At least 1 point is guaranteed. So Soniqs going to be walking away with partial points from, well, not even quite guaranteed in this game, but potentially partial points from both of the games that they have played today against FaZe and against G2.
Yeti straight up towards the double window. He's using the IQ there just to ping out the gadgetry that is on the other side. He sees the Banshee, knows that there's a proximity mine in there, all stuff that will need to be cleared before they can look to push on through that window. No Ying this time, but Grixer going to make quick progress potentially at the armory stairs. Takes the cam out for now and continues his push across that bottom floor. He looks for the soft off-wall shots, but it's going to be Bullet who manages to fire them in the return. That's the problem. The tracers come through the wall. You can just shoot in the direction they're coming from, and Bullet absolutely nails it. There's a second kill comes in from Cyber, a second kill from Bullet himself. 4 versus 2 now, and it looks like the wheels have finally come off for the Soniqs as FaZe are going to close this out on Oregon.
MPX, by the way, P shooter, can't do damage at range.
Or through walls.
Don't matter if you hit in the head, who cares? Now Super getting blasted from upstairs, gets the flank out from Astro, the same as last round. It's going to be deja vu for Super, I'm afraid. And Yeti, in a 1v4, has got it all to do. He's got the time, but has he got the capability, Tim? That's the question mark.
Well, there's an awful lot to ask here. He's got drones, not many of them. He's 3 to go at. Okay. Not him personally. 2 of them are his to control potentially, but his team are going to be trying to find information. Super Kansan are on those drones, trying to feed anything they can in. 1 versus 3. Yeti just needs to try and isolate fights here. He needs to find these as 1v1s, and FaZe, they need to do the exact opposite. They need to prevent that, create crossfires, be in a position whereby if he does find a kill, he can be challenged upon, and it can be impacted upon. Now then, he manages to find some damage. He's going to be challenged again and again and again on these white stairs. He's down to about 5 HP here. There is very little that Yeti can do now. 40 seconds, and he knows he's just blasting through the floor, hoping to pick anything up.
Well, he got Pokeball, as you said, impacted on him, which really just about summarised it. Man on the ground, shotgun to the face, cameraman with the close. FaZe take all 3 points. I believed him. They go second in the group, along with G2 in first place. Soniqs slip down into third.
Yes, they do, and they're not going to have an easy day of it tomorrow. Only picking up 1 day on the opening point. The Soniqs are going to have to come back strong if they want to go through to the playoffs, and I could say that for the whole of NA. We've had an X-set win, and we've had 1 point for the Soniqs. I believe that is the entire point total for NA. 1 win out of 8 games, and coming in here, we had some strong teams, particularly Astralis, who we thought were going to be doing much more than they have for NA, but LATAM and EU seem to be the victors of the day.
Never thought I'd hear those words, Tim. EU, the victors of the day.
A lot of people didn't. I'm not getting carried away. It's only day 1. I'm not getting carried away just yet.
Well, you say that. It's the end of day 1. That's us officially a third of the way through the group. Still 2 more
EU
days
on top.
to come.
No, I'm not getting carried away.
I mean, didn't you get what your first prediction of the day right and go, stop the count?
Stop the count.
Stop
it now.
I'm done. That's it. No more. No more. It's beautiful, though, because that does wrap up the first day. We'll have a little breakdown in a second of all the groups, so you guys can have a look through those. And
we'll catch up to where we're at.
In case you missed stuff out, in case you're not quite sure what's gone down and where teams stand going into
It's a long
day
day.
2.
We can forgive that. But
Exactly, and it also gives us a chance to rub it in more that NA aren't doing very well.
We're not going to go too far with that, though, Des.
No, we're completely unbiased casters.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
I supported NA at SI.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Traitor. What's wrong with you?
I just like to see the regions who aren't winning come back and win. That's what I like, this churn. I like to see.
What about us?
Well, that's now why I want EU to come through and do well.
Got it. So you want a Damwon Kia to come in and do
exactly.
well.
APAC EU, either of them, I'll be happy with at this tournament.
It is true. If Elevate make a deep run, based on what we've seen today, I would be ecstatic.
They were good today.
I would love some excitement coming out of APAC South, because we spoke about those new players in Mark, Mr. Punch, for example, both unbelievable shows of strength today.
Yep, absolutely. I don't think anybody expect. I think that's probably been the surprise of the day. If we talk about the day in general, obviously, we've just seen FaZe beat the Soniqs there. Soniqs struggling to only 1 point out of a possible 6. FaZe going for a full 6, doing fantastically well. But yeah, for me, I think the surprise of the day. I thought that Elevate would beat M&M. I did have them on my predictions, as you've just said. But beyond that, I really didn't expect them to get the second win against Astralis.
Well, your predictions for tomorrow should be way better, because now you've got day 1 to base it on.
That's exactly it. We know what we're expecting now. They all go out the window tomorrow.
That's the problem. Things will kind of reset to what we call normal, as we tend to see at most events. But let's take a run through our groups. We'll start with Group A, so you guys can get caught up on which teams are not going through yet, but are in the driving seat of their groups. Rogue at the top with 6 points, 2 emphatic wins today. 14 and 6 overall. table, with NIP and XSET sat just below them on 3 points, with XSET picking up that win against NIP to hand NA their first 3-point win today. Damwon Kia started out the day quite disappointingly, Tim. Just really couldn't show up.
Yeah, I mean, I personally expected more out of Damwon Kia, but I don't think there's any huge surprises in Group A yet either. I would like to see more out of Damwon Kia. I hoped that we would, but Rogue and NIP in the top 2, no surprises for me there. I think that's probably how it will finish.
The Rogue haters can stay quiet. Let's take a look at Group B, see how things are standing up there as well. FaZe at the top on 6 points. They're actually just about jumping ahead of G2. I didn't realise, I forgot to be honest with you, there's so many games going on today that they'd had that full 2 3-point wins. So they sit top of the pops with G2 in second. Soniqs, despite some good showings at points today, only have the 1 point, and Sandbox dead last. Not a good day for our Korean squads, Tim.
No, it's another one of those groups, is Group B, where 2 teams are starting to run away with it quickly.
Yeah.
When you have a group where 2 teams win both of their games, you get this really big gulf between the two. Soniqs already 4 points behind. Not going to be easy for them to catch up. You know, let's arguably say with the way things went today, G2 and FaZe both win their game against Sandbox, which is looking very possible. You've got G2 on 8, you've got FaZe on 9. That really starts to put them close to that line then. So Soniqs, you don't have any time to play with here. You want wins, they've got to come tomorrow.
FaZe could be qualified tomorrow, and
yes,
so could G2.
Exactly.
That's already the kind of state that we're getting to.
Soniqs need to win both games tomorrow.
Exactly.
Realistically.
Let's take a look at Group C as well to start seeing who else is coming on through. EU on top, baby. Wolves in first place on 5 with that overtime win. Coming in against Gaming Gladiators, 8 and 7. Could have been having a very different conversation if Gaming had won that game. W7M on 3 points themselves. That game is still ongoing now between them, and I want to say it's Oxygen.
Yeah, it's XG. So this is it. I said that we were potentially, the reason I used the word potentially, looking at 1 out of 8 wins for NA is because we don't have that game. If it is just finishing, we don't have the result yet. That much I will say. So we're going to have a look how that's going on for you, and we will let you know. But yes, it could be, depending what happens with Oxygen, if they manage to get the win, then yes, it could be 2 out of 8 for NA, but the way it stands at the minute, that's how it is. Wolves, again, they've sort of been the quiet one in EU for me. G2 have made a lot of noise. Rogue we've focused on. Wolves have just sort of gone about their business without being mentioned too much, but they've got themselves 2 wins, and they're in another one of those groups where them and W7M are looking very good. We've got the confirmation, we've got the update there. W7M, 2 wins, 6 points, and they are... Again, I had a little bit of an asterisk against them coming in. We've not seen them really travel as a whole to an event yet. We didn't know exactly what we were going to see from them. They've turned up on day 1, and they've certainly delivered the sort of performances that they have been doing in the BR6.
Almost someone as Rogue as well, who again were 14 and 6, I think, 14 and 8 here. Just a strong day overall, but Wolves keeping it close to the wire at 15 and 11. Let's take a look at Group D then to round out our group standings. Furia at top of the pops. A team that we had some question marks about have gone 2-0 today, 14 and 5. The best record we've had of any of our top 2 or any of our top teams at the minute who have got 2 wins on the board. Elevate, not far behind, also had a wonderful start to the day. And M&M, I think expectedly for many, slipping down into 3rd, but Astralis, not a team anyone expected to see at the bottom of this group. No,
that's the big surprise today. I've got to say that, you know, they've been so strong in NAL recently. We saw them finalists in Charlotte. You know, we expected potentially big things out of them here in Berlin, but they haven't been able to deliver yet, but there is a lot of time to go. That's the big thing to mention here. We're only on day 1 of 3. All of these teams have got 4 more games to play. Nobody is qualified yet. That can happen tomorrow for quite a few of the teams, but I've got a feeling that it's unlikely to.
Absolutely.
I think we're going to see a few switcheroos tomorrow, if I'm honest.
It's going to be really interesting to see how things develop, no doubt. So there's plenty more Siege to watch for the next couple of days. We'll take a look also at the match summary in just a minute of the game that we just had, now that we've got the stats all finished and wrapped up. In case you were curious exactly how things have gone down, Cyber, I have no doubt, is going to be probably in our top 3 players so far of the day, because he had a phenomenal game earlier.
2 big games.
A phenomenal game here as well, like just putting up big numbers. This could be a big tournament for him. Bullet, I've got to ask questions of when are we going to start seeing him shine as well? Because if FaZe are going to have another Sweden-esque performance, they've got to see him shine.
That's it. Cyber, they've been able to rely on today. They've been able to rely on him through stage 2, but in international tournaments, we know that that does not last forever. You cannot ride all the way on one player. So yes, we need the other 4. They are facilitating him. They are playing well. We saw, some very good roams from Bullet and Astro, particularly working together. They just need to convert that into a few more kills, you feel, going forward. But we're not being critical of FaZe. A good start for them today. 6 points, and they are going to use that as a building block.
I honestly thought FaZe this game looked far sharper. The 4 players that we mentioned earlier being quieter. Despite Bullet not putting up big numbers, it felt like everyone was switched on, engaged. They were all really pushing together as a team. If that only improves into tomorrow and day 3, I think I hold to the point where I think they could well be a semi-finals team, and that will be exciting to see them going back for another major inside the same 12 months.
Oh, 100%. As we've said, dominance now in Siege looks like 2 major events in a year.
Yep.
And that is something that FaZe could be aiming towards, but there's a long, long way to go yet. I am looking forward to all of tomorrow's games. I cannot wait to get into them. As I say, I'm expecting more upsets. I'm expecting more chaos.
Yep.
And that's just Siege group
Well,
stages.
Tim, you talk